In 8 days, everything changes for the United States. I don't think people know what's coming. I'm talking about a fundamental shift in America, the total destruction of the Obama-Biden era. According to sources I've spoken to, President Trump is about to unleash the largest bomb of day one executive orders that we've seen in American history. That means within 1 hour of putting his hand on the Bible, taking the keys back to the White House, President Trump is scheduled to put his name on hundreds of executive orders immediately. So buckle up, folks. This is going to be big. So let's go through some of the huge details of what we are expecting in just a week's time. So within hours of the president taking the oath of office, President Trump is set to unleash a tidal wave of executive orders, hundreds of them, designed to obliterate the Obama-Biden legacy. If past is prologue, we can actually look back to 2016 for some clues about what's coming. But make no mistake about it, this time it'll be much, much bigger. So back in 2016, Trump hit the ground running. On day one, he signed executive orders to begin construction of the border wall, withdraw the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, give the middle finger to environmentalists, expediting environmental reviews for infrastructure projects. He also froze federal hiring and took steps to undo Obamacare. Now imagine that, but doubled, tripled, or quadrupled in scale. Reports suggest Trump plans to reclassify thousands of civil service positions to ensure loyalty, reinstate travel bans to secure our borders.
So we should have a travel ban, an immediate deportation, and immediate consequences for the mother country that knowingly sends these people here.
Use a machete to basically slash regulations to reignite American industry. This isn't just hitting the reset button, guys. This is smashing it with a sledgehammer. This is why the left is panicking right now. They know that within 3 hours of Trump ascending to office, he will dismantle the policies they've spent years building. The Obama-Biden era isn't just ending, it's being erased. It's a globalist agenda that is being erased, and I cannot wait for it. So what's on the table for day one of 2025? Well, let's start with immigration. It starts right there. Trump plans to reinstate travel bans, not just as a matter of policy, but as a matter of national security. Reports suggest he's preparing mass deportation, stricter border enforcement, ensuring that the Darien Gap, Panama pipeline of illegal immigration stops cold.
Number one, we're closing the border. It's going to be closed very strongly, and it's going to be closed. And we're going to have to take people out that are criminals. We have people from jails from all over the world and from mental institutions. And as you know, they're going to have to be removed. And we're going to be really governed by common sense. These are the principles of common sense. We're not going to be governed by stupid people.
On the economy, expect new orders slashing regulations that have strangled American businesses. Trump's energy plan, by the way, is set to turbocharge independence by reopening federal lands for drilling, oil drilling, reversing Biden's crippling green agenda. But it's not just about oil, coal, and natural gas. It's also about critical minerals in the United States. One of America's biggest blind spots right now is critical minerals. The United States has some of the largest untapped reserves of essential minerals like copper, lithium, uranium, and other rare earth elements, which are vital from everything to construction, to computers, to EVs, to renewable energy technologies.
We're going to put the miners back to work.
Trump's focus on domestic mining isn't just about jobs. It's about securing America's supply chains, reducing our dependence on foreign nations like China for these resources. We get a huge amount of our enriched uranium, by the way, from Russia. This needs to stop right now. Let's talk about education reform. Also on the table, Trump has hinted at dismantling woke federal education policies, expanding school choice, giving parents the power to decide what's best for their kids.
Rather than indoctrinating young people with inappropriate racial, sexual, and political material, which is what we're doing now, our schools must be totally refocused to prepare our children to succeed in the world.
But it's not just at home where America has been taken advantage of. It's on the global stage as well. So let's talk about Europe. For years, the United States has been the economic engine propping up Europe. They sell us 20% of their goods. But what do we get in return? A massive trade deficit. Now, I lived in Europe for years. And let me tell you, try going to the store and trying to find like an American product on their shelves. You won't find it. You won't find anything like this. Oh, you want to pick up some Lysol wipes to clean your countertops? Sorry, can't buy it there in Europe. You want some like beef stock to make your soup? Sorry, you're not going to find it. You want some organic, like half and half for your coffee? Sorry, you're not going to find anything like this. You're going to get these generic, crappy European brands, whether it's laundry detergent or basic household goods. All you'll find are subpar European brands. And this isn't just anecdotal. The numbers tell the same story. Our trade deficit with Europe stands at an eye-popping $131 billion. That's not trade, it's a subsidy. Plain and simple. We are propping them up. Trump understands this better than anyone. He's not just going to level the playing field, he's going to tip it in America's favor. The days of Europe freeloading on American prosperity are over. It's not just Europe, though. Let's talk about Canada. Over the past few days, Trump's comments about Governor Trudeau have sent the liberal media into a frenzy, and of course, for good reason. Trump called out how the United States has essentially been subsidizing Canada's economy for years, whether it's lopsided trade deals, unfair tariffs, or energy policies that put American workers last. Canada has benefited from our generosity while giving us very little in return.
I said to Trudeau, I said, why are we subsidizing you $200 and $250 billion a year? He said, I really don't know. And I said, well, I don't know either. I said, what would happen to Canada if we didn't? He said, Canada would be obliterated if that happened. I said, then Canada should be a 51st state.
The free ride is over. Next, let's talk about Greenland. The liberal media ridiculed Trump when he floated the idea of purchasing Greenland from Denmark. But let's not forget the historical precedent here. Thomas Jefferson made the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, doubling the size of the United States for $15 million. Critics called it reckless. Sound familiar? Then there's Harry Truman, a Democrat, who proposed buying Greenland in the late 1940s because he understood its strategic importance, both for mineral resources and national security. What Trump suggested isn't crazy. It's actually pretty visionary. You might not like it. It depends on where you stand on the issue, but it doesn't matter. Greenland is rich in resources, critical minerals. Its strategic location in the Arctic makes it a key player in global security. Trump recognizes this just as Thomas Jefferson and Harry Truman did. And finally, Panama. When Jimmy Carter handed the Panama Canal back to Panama in 1977 for $1, it came with one condition: neutrality. But neutrality is a distant memory. Today, China has a significant influence over the canal, creating a choke point that directly threatens the United States' interests. But the canal isn't the only issue. Just south of it lies the Darien Gap, which we've covered extensively here on this show, a dangerous stretch of jungle that's become a pipeline for illegal immigration into the United States, including military-age men from China. Heck, even 60 Minutes, liberal 60 Minutes, highlighted this alarming trend. This isn't just about immigration, it's a national security concern.
Migrants from China are now the fastest growing group of people entering the United States illegally from Mexico.
China?
So bottom line, a massive wave of executive orders, a complete reset of failed globalist policies, and a clear plan to put America first. Trump's day one agenda isn't just about undoing the Obama-Biden era. It's about building a stronger, more independent future for this country. And as we've seen with Europe, Canada, Greenland, Panama, the message is clear. America will no longer be taken advantage of. The free rides are over. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to the theme of Trump's America First agenda. The United States of America is 1 week away from swearing in a president whose stated goal is to drill, baby, drill, unlocking America's vast riches. So back in 2021, right after Joe Biden took office, the market cap of Giant Mining, here's their ticker on your screen, was around $100 million. Today, that same company, Giant Mining, has a market cap of just $7 million after plummeting 93%. So the company called Giant Mining is sponsoring today's video, and I want to show you why the same company that owns a copper, silver, gold project in the state of Nevada is 93% cheaper than it was back in 2021, even after hitting its best ever drill intercepts back in September of last year. On November 15th, a major bill passed the House of Representatives. It's called the Critical Mineral Consistency Act, and now it goes to the Senate next. Now, here's what a congressman had to say about it. He said, quote, "Critical minerals are essential for our economy. The United States must ensure access to a reliable supply." That was Arizona Congressman Juan Ciscomani, who is actually the sponsor of the bill.
Other countries like China and Peru have specifically articulated and invested in the minerals they deem critical. Meanwhile, here in the United States, several minerals are indisputably essential to our national security and clean energy economy, such as copper.
He explains that the goal is to fortify commodities logistics domestically and include copper, electrical steel, silicon carbide on the critical minerals list for our national security. Now, the legislation specifically ensures that copper mine projects are eligible for the Fast 41 permitting process. So this bill goes to the Senate next, which will be a Republican-controlled Senate. So Giant Mining owns a copper project in the world's #1 mining jurisdiction, Nevada, which is situated right here in the good old US of A. Now, in the past 4 years, while the share price has cratered by 93%, the management and the company's geologists have actually expanded the copper deposit. And in this past December, Giant Mining hit their best ever drill hole. So BHP Billiton and Rio Tinto, two of the largest copper producers in the world, are warning that copper supply cannot possibly meet the future demand from artificial intelligence, the construction renaissance in the United States, and China. We have a copper shortage, to be sure. Meanwhile, the share price of Giant Mining, whose flagship copper silver gold project in Nevada is called the Mojave Hill, has depreciated from when it was $4.20 on January 13th, 2023, to only 16 cents today. The entire company is worth $7.3 million compared to its 2021 peak. And back in September of 2024, the company just hit its best drill intercept ever. So just so you understand the history here in Nevada, the historic underground mines in the Mojave Hill project produced copper, tin, silver from the early 1900s to the 1950s, including 2.8 million pounds of copper, 184,000 ounces of silver, 5,800 ounces of gold, and 21,000 pounds of tin. So I will say this again, all of these factors and the ones I'm about to tell you are the ones that led to my significant bullish opinion about Giant Mining and why I asked them to sponsor today's video. Because the infrastructure is ready for big-time drilling. They have access roads, power supply, transportation, water supply, ore, stockpiles, processing space, and then a processing plant. So when you look at all of this, ask yourself one question. At 93% below its all-time high, with a market cap of $7.3 million compared with its $100 million back in the day, with legislation that puts copper as an essential mineral in the United States, you ask yourself, is this company at least worth doing some due diligence on, studying it a little bit, right? So preliminary discussions with the Trump team show that they want to bring back to the United States the defense industrial supply chain through tariffs on steel, iron, aluminum, and copper. The world's most impactful government is singling out copper as a strategic national defense mineral. And I'm profiling a copper company, Giant Mining, which is worth $100 million back in the day when Trump left office in early 2021. Right now under Biden, it's worth $7.5 million. Copper prices separately have been shooting up. Since early 2023, copper prices have been surging from $2.50 up to $4. So right now, the market cap of Giant Mining, back then, $100 million, today it's $7.5. Same exact copper, silver, gold project in Nevada. Nothing's changed. Only now the project is significantly more developed, and they just hit their highest grade hole to date back in September. So with 1 week to go until Donald Trump's inauguration, the notion that after 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Biden, the policies that made it difficult to permit, to mine in the United States won't be relaxed, that's completely out of touch, in my opinion. So when you look this incoming pro-business administration in the face with its new minerals legislation, new copper as its critical material and mineral, you can see why I'm very bullish on this. And the fact that the share price is down 93% right now. So guys, do your own homework here. Deep dive into this company. We'll have links in the description below so you can do your own homework and research. And we'll see you next time, everyone.